great pleasure that I welcome you to this meeting on transparency and accountability for Christians in government as part of the Shun Corruption Project supported by John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation. The Shun Corruption Project was conceived by Palace of Priests Assembly, PPA, in furtherance of our mission as a church and the mandate God has given to us. Our mandate is to, among other things, promote the dual mandate of the church and the priesthood of all believers. The project is implemented by the social arm of the church, the Peace, Peace and Justice Initiative, PPJ. The goal of the project is to mobilize Christians, especially Pentecostals, to join the fight against corruption in Nigeria. We all know that the problem of corruption is a global one. Over the years, several scholars, development workers, activists, politicians, international organizations, public affairs commentators, and the general public have given attention to the problem of corruption and its attendant effects on society. The problem is not new to mankind, even though it has reached unprecedented proportions in recent years. It is as old as society itself and cuts across nations, cultures, races, and classes of people. Corruption poses significant challenges to economic development, social justice, and stability. It has been argued that one of the major obstacles to the development of poor countries is corruption. Corruption is undoubtedly one of the greatest challenges of our time. A challenge that is not only leading to impoverishment and loss of lives, but also threatening the stability of society. Over the years, there has been a lot of focus on how to mitigate the impact of corruption. Strategies, programs, and agencies have been put in place to address the problem of corruption. But the challenge remains. Despite the plethora of legislations and agencies fighting corruption in Nigeria, corruption has remained widespread and pervasive because of failure to utilize universally tested and accepted strategies, disconnect between posturing of leaders and their conduct, lack of concrete, sustainable, and anti-corruption programming, and failure to locate the anti-corruption struggle within a broader struggle to transform society. Previously, religious groups in Nigeria do not engage in the fight against corruption. But in the recent past, many religious groups, especially those working in the behavior change cohort, with the support of MacArthur Foundation, have become agents of change, engaging in anti-corruption initiatives. I remember very clearly, about 5 years ago, when we started this project, many Pentecostal leaders, general overseers, challenged us violently that we have no right to talk about corruption in the church because they were called by God, and only God can question them. But we know that today, a lot of them have embraced this project and the fight against corruption. Only last week, I had the opportunity to make a presentation of this project to the National Executive Council of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, and it was well received. We are hoping that the next program of annual General Overseer Summit that we are going to organize will be done in conjunction with the National Executive of PFN. It is within the context that Shun Corruption Project was conceptualized. The first phase of the project was implemented from 2018 to August 2021. The first phase showed the potential for behavior change by Pentecostals to engage in social issues and join the fight against corruption. We witnessed the emergence of new cultures by individual Pentecostal leaders in various sectors to shun, speak, and stand up against corruption. The project was implemented in 16 states out of the 36 states of the Federation of Nigeria. The second phase of the project started in September 2021. In phase 1, the locus of change was the individual. But in phase 2, the locus of change is the group, Pentecostals. And our work has expanded to 26 states. Since the commencement of this project, it has been a harvest of first. We harvested 115 scriptures that capture the meaning of corruption and the imperative for Christians to adhere to the standards of honesty, integrity, and transparency. We trained a total of 2,892 Pentecostals. 1,186 additional Pentecostals have endorsed the Pact on Transparency and Accountability. I'm sure many of you know that when the church started, after the death of Jesus Christ, the mandate of the church was very clear. Minister to both the spiritual and social needs of the people. And the first church, the Catholic Church, took the social dimension of the church very seriously. That is why you see that the Catholic Church have Justice Development and Peace Commission. They have Caritas Foundation. They have CFFN. They have several organizations dedicated to dealing with social issues. But we did not have that with Pentecostals. But I can report to you that with our project, 91 Pentecostal churches have established the social arm of the church to fight corruption and address other social issues in the society. We have also established 61 anti-corruption platforms, including Ministers Against Corruption, Christian Women Against Corruption, and Youth Vanguard Against Corruption. At PPA, we firmly believe that the fight against corruption is not merely a civic duty, but a fulfillment of the dual mandate given to the church by Jesus Christ to minister to the people spiritually and physically, including the social dimension of the church. Our approach to this project utilizes the behavioral change model. We utilize a multifaceted approach that targets behavior change, that influence social norm and promotes ethical conduct. The approach emphasizes altering behaviors through media, advocacy, technology, and creative methods to reshape attitude, behavior, norms, and morals at individuals and institutional level. The channels we used include mainstreaming anti-corruption messages in religious teachings, in sermons, and other avenues such as Sunday school and Bible study, advocacy to government and religious leaders to engage in anti-corruption fight, for government to sanction corrupt officials, and for religious leaders to shun, speak up, and stand up against corruption. Building the capacity of religious leaders to engage in anti-corruption activities using the holy books, identifying religious leaders who are models of integrity or champions of anti-corruption and projecting them as models for others to follow. Use of conventional and social media to educate about the cost of corruption and mobilize people to shun, speak up, and stand up against corruption. And use of creative methods including poetry, drama, music, film, art, and so on in the fight against corruption. In addition, we have continued to employ mechanisms aimed at changing behavior regarding accountability within and outside the church, including information, education, and communication, IEC, and behavior change communication, BBC materials, radio talk show. We have a radio program, Voice of the Priest Against Corruption, and youth utilizing creative arts. In this last year of the project, we are focusing on consolidating sustainability of the project. The platform on transparency and accountability for Christians in government is an important aspect of this project, especially in terms of our plans for consolidation. The platform is meant to bring together Christian leaders in government across Nigeria to focus on Christianity and accountability. The platform is based on a recognition that there are Christian ethics based on the Word of God, the Bible, which will guide the behavior of Christian adherents. The ethics include holiness, faithfulness, worship, humanitarian spirit, liberality, self-discipline, defense of the poor and oppressed, opposition to cruelty, opposition to deceit, opposition to luxury and selfishness, as stated clearly in the scriptures. Exodus chapter 20, verse 3 to 17, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5, Luke chapter 3, verse 10 to 14, Matthew chapter 22, verse 35 to 40, Colossians, 1 Peter, John 13, 34, John chapter 15, verse 20, John chapter 13, verse 14 to 15, the book of Psalm 14, verse 6, Isaiah chapter 25, verse 4, and Psalms 140, verse 12. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm looking forward to many Christians in government signing our pact on accountability. I wish everyone successful deliberations. God bless you.